Today we're going to be talking about the average height and 40 time for all football players based on their position. Now, with all these positions, with all these 40 times heights that we're going to be discussing today, it's going to be mainly based off of like high school aged players, right? So if you're not high school aged or you're about to enter high school, you could use this as kind of like a reference point of maybe where you should be at. But I want to clarify you guys that like your height doesn't necessarily, it's not the most important thing in the world. Your height definitely matters. Your height can definitely help, but it's not like that's what makes you a great football player, right? This is not basketball. We're not trying to recruit a center who's, you know, the tallest person on the field. But also, you guys, your 40 time isn't the most important thing either. Game speed film, or game speed that you could showcase on film is what's most important. A college coach isn't going to judge you based off of a 40 time that you ran in t-shirt and shorts. He's going to look on film and see, okay, this guy's fast. But this is just a good gauge to kind of let you know where you are at. So we're going to start with the quarterback position. So the quarterback position especially is a skill-based position. You need to be able to have accuracy, arm strength, all of those things that make you a great quarterback. Your height and your 40 time doesn't dictate if you're a great quarterback or not, because you could be flat out slow like Tom Brady and be the greatest of all time. You could be short like, you know, like let's say like a Kyler Murray and still be able to play in the league. So it really doesn't matter as much as you think. But I think average height for a quarterback in high school is probably 6 foot. And then I would say average 40 time for a high school quarterback who's maybe on the dual threat side of things, can move around, would be like a 4.7 or a 4.8 40-yard dash. Now, fellas, if you are undersized, one thing that you could make up for that lack of height would be putting on a good amount of weight in the off season. So one of the best ways to pack on weight would be having a high protein intake in your diet. And it's very hard to hit your protein goal on a day-to-day basis without supplementing with a protein powder. So if you guys would like some of the best tasting protein powder on the market, check out that very first link in the description below for our AG Labs Whey Protein Powder. This is our salted caramel frappuccino flavor. We also have a cookies and cream flavor, chocolate peanut butter brownie, and some other flavors that people really enjoy. So guys, if you use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout, you get 25% off your first order. Protein, guys, you want to try to consume 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're 160 pounds, you got to consume 160 a day, and that's tough to do with only 3 meals. So supplementing a protein powder, like I said, is one of the best ways to do that. Now let's talk about receivers and DBs. Now this is probably where it's more important with terms of your 40-yard dash, because obviously if you're a skill position player, you got to have some speed, especially if you're a receiver. You're matched up against DBs who are naturally some of the fastest players on the field. So I would say average height would probably be like around like 5'10" if you're in high school. I think a slot receiver could get away with being a little bit shorter, maybe like 5'8", just because slots are naturally smaller players than the outside receivers. But I'd say average is about 5'10". If you're above 5'10", I would say generally you're above average for high school. Now your 40-yard dash, I would say should be somewhere within like a 4.6 to a 4.5 range. 4.5 is a little fat. Probably a 4.6 is a good gauge, anywhere from like 4.61, 4.68, etc. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because if you're a wide receiver who maybe attends like a college camp in the summer, the 40-yard dash is a great way for you to stand out. Maybe go from like unnoticed to noticed in the eyes of a college coach. So if you could clock in a time like that, that is something that could turn a lot of heads, especially college coaches. Now, for high school running backs, I would say probably the average height. And running backs are a little bit normally on the shorter side of things when you're comparison to wide receivers, but I would say it's about the same. I'd say probably 5'9" is probably your average height for a high school running back. 5'9", 5'10", I would say. And then for a 40-yard dash, a lot of times you get like more so power running backs. I know it's not as popular nowadays in today's world of football, but I would say probably a 4.7 40-yard dash when you combine the amount of speed running backs and power running backs together. But yeah, I would say 5'9" to 5'10", and then a 4.7 40 is probably average for running backs. Now for linebackers, I would say the average height for a high school linebacker is probably going to be from like 6 foot to 6'1", and then for a 40-yard dash, I'd probably say anywhere from like a 5.3 to a 5.4 40-yard dash.